Yo, what's up guys, Neon Blitz here, back with another Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra video. I love making these videos towards the end of every season, and we have a special one here because the next season of Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra is going to be the 1-year anniversary for the game. That's right, Season 7 is going to be the 1-year anniversary for Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra. I can't believe the game is already a year old. It generally feels like the game just came out, but here we are about to celebrate its 1-year anniversary. So you already know, this wishlist is going to be special. I normally have a lot of rules where I don't like to do repeat characters, or I don't like to do too many hype characters, but it's a 1-year anniversary, guys. Come on. We gotta go all out. So if you guys are excited for the 1-year anniversary, please leave a like, comment, maybe consider subscribing. Let me know down in the comments who you guys want to see come for the 1-year anniversary. And let me know what you think of my picks. And I'll make sure to respond to your comments, letting you know what I think of your guys' picks. Before we get started, shout out Streamer Code for the background music. I've been using their stuff pretty much since my Season 2 wishlist. Love their stuff. They make amazing lo-fi content of the Dokkan OSTs. Please show them some love. I'll leave a link to the exact video that we're listening to in the description, so please show them some love. Now, before we get into my actual picks, we have to do my honorable mentions. And my honorable mention of the character I want but didn't quite make the list is Janemba. The only reason Janemba didn't make this list is because I've already requested Janemba in prior seasons, and the hard rule I'm setting to myself is I cannot have repeat character picks. So that's the only reason why Janemba is an honorable mention. If I hadn't said Janemba before, he would definitely be on the list. And you guys saw the thumbnail, you already know it's probably the most requested, most anticipated, and predicted character for the 1st anniversary. But I'm right there with him. My first and most wanted character for the 1-year anniversary of Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra is Super Gogeta. I know, not the most crazy, outlandish pick, but come on. We need Super Gogeta in the game. What better time to add him to the game than the 1-year anniversary? All these other Dragon Ball mobile games, Dragon Ball Dokkan, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan, Dragon Ball Legends, has had Gogeta be a part of their anniversary, and so why not Gekishin Squadra? We had Super Vegeta during Season 3, which is kind of crazy to think about since he was the season right before the 1-year or the half-year anniversary. I don't know why they didn't wait till the half-year anniversary. Well, I know why, because the whole appeal of the half-year anniversary is that you could get Vegito and Broly for free, but I was surprised they didn't also just wait. But Super Gogeta for the 1st anniversary makes a lot of sense to me. It's a character I heavily want in the game. And the question is, what does he do? You know, this form of Gogeta, Super Gogeta, doesn't have a lot of screen time. He pretty much transfers, fuses, and Fusion Reborn. Does some flips and kicks against Janemba, does the Soul Punisher, and then the movie ends. And that's it. So what exactly do I want from this Gogeta? Well, other games just throw their own original ideas and content in Gogeta, and it just works because the fusions are just some of the coolest things, and you can just make them do anything and it'll be cool. So they can honestly do whatever they want with Gogeta, and it's gonna feel appropriate and fit. But specifically, I want to just go over some of his animations. For his intro, I think it's pretty obvious. It's just going to be them fusing. Every other fusion has had an animation or legendary intro of them fusing, but I specifically want Gogeta's to be them fusing just so we can see this galaxy shot in game, because I love this like frame for Super Gogeta, that like a whole galaxy is like forming around this like ultimate fusion. I think it's so sick and it will look so good in Squadron. And of course, the legendary finish or legendary intro will be Gogeta fusing, cue the Gekishin Squadra splash screen, and yeah. For his skills, I'm not too sure. Again, Super Gogeta can do literally anything, so I'm not going to sit here and try to predict what he can do. But all these other Dragon Ball games, they have him do Kamehamehas, they have him do Final Flashes, they have him do these kicks. And of course, I want all of that here. Here's him doing a Kamehameha in Dokkan. We're going to see in another clip of Super Gogeta doing a Final Flash. If I head over here, here's him doing a Final Flash. So he can literally do whatever, and I'd honestly be down for Gogeta to have Final Flash. Even though Super Vegito didn't do Kamehameha, we don't have Final Flash in the game. Isn't that so weird to say? We are 1 year into Gekishin Squadra, and we do not have a Final Flash or Gallic Gun in the game. That is insane for me to say. I get it because all the Vegetas have been tank, and the closest we have is Final Shine Attack. But God Vegeta doesn't do anything. Super Saiyan Vegeta has Big Bang Attack, which is fine. And like I was saying, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta has Final Shine Attack. So we haven't had a great opportunity to get a Gallic Gun or Final Flash in the game. Give it to Gogeta, man. Why not? Of course, this could either be another one of his skills or even potentially his legendary finisher of him countering Janemba's fist. Like, you can just see the animation. The enemy on low health punches Gogeta, and then Gogeta just like hits him back. And then that's a legendary finisher. Or that could even be one of his moves. He could have like a one-hit counter opposite of Topo, where Topo kind of has like a second a timer counter. Super Vegeta could just have a counter that you just hit him once, he's just gonna instantly damage you. Kind of think Jackie Chun's clones. It's kind of how I'm imagining it in game. It gotta be that or a finisher. I think it'd be sick as a finisher. And then of course we already know what his ultimate would be. It has to be Soul Punisher, and I'm gonna be using fighters for this. I mean, this has to be his ultimate. There's nothing else it could be where he just throws a Soul Punisher at you and it does like half your health bar with solid berry up, full tank stats. You already know Super Vegeta is going to be absolutely busted when he gets added in the game. So just go crazy with it, man. Screw it. Why not? Why not? Then, of course, for like his legendary finisher, this could be honestly be a cool legendary, not finisher, excuse me, legendary MVP with him looking down. I mean, Vegeta already has an awesome legendary MVP, so I'm wondering how they're going to do Gogeta, but they could have Gogeta look super scary like this and then do the little smile that he does. I think that'd be kind of cool. It could also be like an epic MVP to say, but yeah, I just want Super Gogeta in the game. Now, for his skins, I mean, Vegeta didn't come with a skin, so Gogeta doesn't necessarily need to get a launch skin, but considering we have gacha summonable skins in the game, I would imagine to fully capitalize and get all the money they can from Gogeta. Not only is Gogeta gonna have like full legendary animations, I'm talking legendary intro, legendary finisher, legendary outro, or 11 VP, maybe even a legendary Dragon Ball acquisition. I don't know, they're gonna get crazy there. A legendary team finisher. They could also give him a launch skin. This is Xeno Gogeta, where the only difference is, you know, he's wearing a lot more black. He has a black shirt on, which obviously Gogeta doesn't have a shirt on. Has black pants. If they really wanted to, they could make this a skin, and I'm sure people would eat it up. I mean, it does look, it is a great design. Like the all black clashes very well against like the blue sash and the armbands with obviously the yellow from the vest and the Super Saiyan hair. It would look great, and then of course you can throw on infinite textures on this. Who's to say? Maybe you could just have a skin where it's just all ones over his body to celebrate the 1 anniversary. I don't know, but they could literally do anything they want with Super Gogeta, and I'm here for it. I just want Super Gogeta in the game. I know, not the most crazy, unique take, but hey, I love Gogeta. I'll say it on camera. I do prefer Gogeta over Vegeta. Don't come at me, please. But I do want him to be damaged. I'm surprised it took me this long to say it, but you know, people have spring up that, you know, if Gogeta was a tank, you can run a team with full fusions with Gotenks as technical, Kefla and Vegeta as damage, and a hypothetical Super Gogeta as tank. I want Super Gogeta to be a damage because I personally think tank should be saved for a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but that's just me. Maybe Super Gogeta could obviously be tank, and if they were smart, they would make Super Gogeta tank to give tank a truly hype character, because it feels like tank hasn't had their truly exciting character. Technical just got it with base from Goku Black. Damage gets all the exciting hype characters. You can probably say Super Vegeta is the pinnacle of that. But it feels like tank hasn't had that yet. So if they made Super Gogeta tank, I would gladly take that as someone that loves playing tank. But I would imagine they make Gogeta damage, and I personally want to do like 300,000 damage in a game with Gogeta. So that's just me. But they can do whatever they want with Gogeta. I already said that. But with that, let's get into my next character. Alright, the next character I want for the 1 year anniversary of the game is going to be a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan or Blue Goku as damage. Now, I know, another Goku damage, come on. I get it. I've asked for God Goku to be technical. I want characters to not be roll-locked before, or not to be roll-locked anymore, but when I think Blue Goku, I just think damage. It just makes the most sense from that. Don't worry, because since it's the 1 year anniversary characters, I normally like to predict 5 or 6 characters. I have 9 characters to predict. So my last damage character, because I have 3 characters per roll, is going to be a Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta that is damaged. Vegeta is going to finally break the curse of being a tank forever, and it's going to join Goku as being damaged. Now, sure, we already have the duo of Super Saiyan God Goku and God Vegeta during the half year anniversary. I think having God Super or Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta for the 1 year anniversary makes a lot of sense. But this time, they're not going to be laning together. They're just going to be on the team together. You're going to have a Blue Vegeta top or bottom, and then you have a Blue Goku top or bottom as well. The duos, I think, is a great idea with the gods, but I want Vegeta to break the mold of being tank every game, and I want Goku to break the mold of being damage every game. But for Blue Goku, I think just damage makes the most sense. But for Vegeta, I think damage makes the most sense. Now keep in mind, even though I know Evolution Blue Vegeta's in the background of this art, this is strictly a Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta. He does not transform to Evolution Blue Vegeta. I think that could be its own character down the line. But for right now, it's just going to be a Blue Goku and a Blue Vegeta as two separate characters. So what do I want Blue Goku to do? Well, I think first for his legendary intro, it's just going to be the transformation he has during Resurrection F, where his whole body envelops in blue, because I believe these are going to be start of battle Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan characters. You know, we had the gods just be started to battle Super Saiyan God, Goku, and Vegeta, and I firmly expect the same for Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta. So they can either have a transformation from Resurrection F, where kind of the blue energy breaks off kind of like glass for Goku, or they can go with the Broly movie transformation, where he transforms from God screaming and just goes blue. And they could also work for Vegeta, but we're going to focus on more Goku for now. I think this would be a sick transformation. Now, would they go all the way and have his transform go silver? I don't think so, because for some reason, none of the Dragon Ball games like referencing that. They just strictly go from red or God to blue. I think it'd be super cool if they actually flash his hair silver to like reference or tease Ultra Instinct and then transform blue. Because I remember seeing that in theaters and be like, oh my god, wait, is he going Ultra Instinct? It's like, no, okay, it's blue. But that's still such like a hype part of the transformation that none of these Dragon Ball games have really adopted. But I'd be perfectly more than happy with just a Blue Goku transforming from like the Broly transformation. As to what he can do, you know, there's so much time on Super with Blue Goku. Obviously, there's Resurrection F, there's the Universe 6 tournament, there's the Goku Black arc, there's the Tournament Power, there's the Broly movie. They spend so much time with Blue that you could honestly make them do anything in Blue. So I wanted to try to make a different type of move. So obviously, there's like Kamehameha. And we've seen a lot of Kamehamehas, because I actually want a Blue Goku to be more of a kind of melee fighter. You know, we had Super Saiyan Goku, who's kind of mixed, where he could sit far back and fire Kamehamehas, or he could go in with his Meteor Hammer. We had super long range Gokus with Super Saiyan 3 Goku with his Super Kamehameha and God Goku with his Skill 2. And God Goku obviously has his ultimate. I didn't forget about that Kamehameha. Several times I'm like, there's only been 2 Kamehamehas, and I keep forgetting about God Goku. I didn't forget this time. So I personally want Blue Goku to be more of a melee damage character. So he can have very melee range attacks to make up for it. Though I do think if he had the destructive disc that Keon's on, I think it'd be very interesting to also get also split off like that, because there's only 2 destructive discs in the game, which are Krillin and 18, I believe. I don't think any other character has it for now. So I think Goku having it could be pretty cool to have part of his moveset. The main reason I want Goku to be melee is because I want the 1-inch punch he does against Golden Frieza to be in the game. I think it's such a sick attack, and you know, it's going to have no range. So you have to be in melee range to do it. So that's why I kind of want a more melee range Goku. Because Goku doesn't just sit back and spam Ki Blast all the time or Kamehas. He actually gets in there and punches and fights. So having a melee range Goku, I think, could work pretty well. You might have to make him a bit more bulky, kind of like a Topo and a Broly. But I think it would work out really well. And the main reason I want Blue Goku in the game is for his ultimate to be Blue Kaioken. When I first played Dragon Ball FighterZ and I saw this level 5, it was the coolest thing in the game, and I want this as an exact ultimate. He turns Blue Kaioken in the ult, and he'll like run into kind of like a Kid Gohan ult, fire this huge kind of combo attack, and then bam, another Kamehameha. And then either at max rank, he can do it once only, or just at max rank, he can fly into it and hit you with a punch for even more devastating damage. Because this is so cool, him flying through the Kamehameha with the Blue Kaioken, obviously all the blue but surrounded with the red of the Kaioken. It's so cool. I want this in the game somehow. That's personally why I want Blue Goku in the game. Now obviously he does a bunch of stuff. For his finisher, he could do kind of like that backhand fist. I believe he does against Zamasu with like the 2v2 he does with Trunks against Goku Black and Zamasu. I think that would work as a cool finisher. For his MVP, I'm not too sure what it could be, I'll be honest. But, I mean, there's so much reference material to pull for Blue Goku that it could be anything. I just personally want to see Blue Kaioken in the game. I'm simple. I just want this to be referenced in like anytime if a blue Kaioken and anything like be a Dokkan or Legends doesn't do this exact thing where Goku flies through the Kamehameha and punches his enemy, I don't want it. But if this flying through Kamehameha punch is in a blue Kaioken moveset, I'm in. That's how much I love this, is that it's either all the way in or all the way out if it's in the character's moveset or not. Now, as for what skins you can do, because Blue Goku obviously has a bunch of kind of different designs. We have, you know, the Whis outfit with no like undershirt. We have a torn gi from the Broly movie, which we know they love the torn gis. We kind of have the more traditional, you know, blue Goku or just Goku gi outfit. And then we're still missing these jacket outfits on the Broly movie. Now, this is a card in Dokkan where Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta have their respective jackets. Where are these costumes? They didn't give it to Super Saiyan Goku. They didn't give it to God Goku. Where's his outfit? I want this damn outfit in the game. I think giving it to a Blue Goku that will surely reference the Broly movie, because surprisingly, God Goku only really references Battle of God / Beer Saga stuff and also the Tournament of Power. Surprisingly, nothing from the Broly movie. So a Blue Goku that fully embraces all of Goku's techniques and moves that he does in the Broly movie with this skin would work perfectly. And you really saw that he has a bunch of different outfits he can do with Torn Gis, Whis outfits, just no Goku Gi. I already said the main reason I want Blue Goku is for the Blue Kaioken punch that he does in this level 5 in Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's why I personally want Blue Goku. Now, I already said earlier, but the next damage character and the final damage character I want is a Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. As I said before, this is not going to be a transforming Vegeta into Blue Evolution. This is just a standalone Blue Vegeta. I think both characters and transformations do enough respectively that they can afford to keep them separate. And I think it'd be kind of weird to having a blue... I mean, sure, you could have a Blue Goku that uses Kaioken and a Blue Vegeta that transforms to Evolution Blue Vegeta. That makes sense. But in my mind, I think you use Blue Kaioken just as a move for Goku, and you can make Evolution Blue Vegeta's own transformation or character, but that's just me. Now, as for what a Blue Goku could do, well, first, I would want the beatdown he kind of gives Goku Black once they go back to the past or go back to the future. This move right here, I think this would be a sick move to do. I don't know how it would work logistically in the game, but this is something I would love. It's just this beatdown he does against Goku Black. And again, if we're doing another Blue Vegeta, another opportunity to give him Gallic Gun or Final Flash, because it still shocks me that a year in, we don't have a single Gallic Gun or a single Final Flash in the game. I don't know what they're waiting on, but Blue Vegeta does both. I think it'd be such an easy thing. There's an easy slot in for his move, and honestly make a lot of sense for our first damage Vegeta. Similarly, into the same vein as Goku, where Goku uses the Blue Kaioken to do that level 5, we have Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta's, or Blue Vegeta, I don't know why I just said the full government name. Blue Vegeta's level 5 from FighterZ, where he fires the Final Flash and then punches the Final Flash. This needs to be in more Dragon Ball games. I don't know why this has only really been in FighterZ and one card in Dokkan, the like multi-transforming Vegeta from Saiyan Day. More Vegetas need to fire Final Flash and punch him, damn it. It's so cool. As can you tell, I played a lot of FighterZ. Again, same thing, similar with Goku, where we see Blue Vegeta a lot during the series, so you can post so much reference material. And obviously, you still have a lot of Z to go through, because I don't think we're going to be getting a Super Vegeta in the game. We have Super Saiyan Vegeta, who I think they would probably consider good enough for a Super Vegeta. So you can probably pull a lot from that. Obviously, from Blue, you have Goku Black Arc, Resurrection F, Tournament of Power, Broly movie. For his end show, it could also be the transformation from, the Resurrection F, or it could also just be the transformation from the Broly movie, as we can see here. Similar kind of vein to Goku's transformation, but I think both could work really easily, and I think both would be extremely well, seeing all this big aura. They could even have it destroy like the ice or the battlefield for the legendary intro. They could be fine. Maybe for the beatdown that Goku or that Vegeta gives Goku Black, I think could maybe even potentially work as a finisher. I think this would probably be the best application of it if it was a finisher. Though I would love it to be part of his moveset, though I don't know how. Similar vein to Goku, where is his coat skin? Where is Vegeta's coat skin? Where are these skins? I don't understand. Where are they? They're so sick. If they're waiting for it to give it to respective Blue, Goku, and Vegeta, sure. But I want these skins in the game as I think they're great and cool looking fits. And I'm tired of Vegeta being a tank. Let Vegeta be a damaged character, and I think the easiest way to do that is to have Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta be a damaged character. But with that, those are the 3 damaged characters I want in the game. Now let's get on to the next 3 characters I want with tanks. Alright, the next character and the first tank I want for the 1-year anniversary of Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra is going to be a Dragon Ball Super Broly that starts from base form and transforms into Raffle Broly. I'm pulling a bit of a Goku Black here where I'm splitting up base Raffle Broly from Super Saiyan Super Broly and Full Power Broly. I think there's enough that Broly does that you can split up both of those characters, and I would personally rather pair up a Super Saiyan Broly, a transforming Full Power Broly with a Gogeta Blue. But I still think a Raffle Broly would be exciting enough on its own, and that's why I want him as a tank. Yes, Broly does a lot of damage, but I think I'd rather save Full Power Broly as the damaged Super Broly, because Raffle Broly was taking a lot of hits, especially base Broly, taking hits from Super Saiyan Vegeta and God Vegeta until obviously turns Raffle and starts fighting it back much more. And I just love the idea of, the whole thing is he's learning as he fights, and I think translating that into gameplay could be really fun. What I personally would love for a Raffle Broly is he kind of has like a mini build-up in his kit already. And it kind of sucks because Jiren kind of already has this where Jiren fills up the gauge and he becomes stronger once the gauge is full up. I think for Broly, he have an interesting mechanic of anytime he gets hit by an enemy, he gets kind of a small percentage of like this meter or something, and once that meter fills up, he gets some innate stats. And the idea is that if you tank enough hits from the enemy, you're going to be much more tanky and deal much more damage. But maybe to make it balanced, if Broly ends up dying, he could lose a lot of those stacks. But I think it'd be super fun to have a tank that would get significantly stronger the more and more damage he tanks from enemies. And I think it'll fit Raffle Broly fully well. Now, what would Broly, a transforming base form Broly into Raffle Broly, do? Now, I think his intro, it can either be his fighter's intro, of this with him kind of breaking the collar and transforming into the, because it has to be base Broly starting out, so it could just be that. It could also be, you can have a legendary intro, and I'm sad I didn't think about this till literally right now, but I'm ready too deep into this. Actually, nah, screw it, we could just do this. Shout out Dokkan Info for this. This website has been very helpful for providing everything for Dokkan card. It could just be the scene of Paragus sending Broly out to fight. You can get a model for Paragus, because let's be honest, Paragus is not going to be playable. At best, he might be a helper. But I could just see, as we've had like Super Saiyan KO modeled in the game, we've had Goten and Trunks modeled for Gotenks. I can see them doing a model for Paragus, commanding Broly to charge forward to attack, and that would be Broly's legendary intro. I think that works really well for a base Broly, and you also get Paragus in the game, which I'm sure people will really like that. Now, as for what Broly could do, I mean, he's a tank, so he's going to obviously need a bunch of extra HP. He's going to be melee range, as even though Broly does fire a lot of ki blasts and beams in the movie, I personally just always thought of Broly as a melee fighter. And one of the things he's obviously going to have, he has to have a grab. Now, the grab I would love, I mean, they could keep this simple grab, or they could do the more, the bigger grab where he kind of stomps on an enemy here. If I can find the right here, like where he stomps an enemy, like just bashes them in. We kind of have a grab already with a power or Cooler's powered skill 3, the dash, that kind of as a grab. But I would think Broly wouldn't need the pass if he could just grab the enemy, slam them around, do damage. And maybe there could be a fun gimmick where Broly would throw the enemy like away, so you can either throw the enemy towards his team or a way to protect people. But I think it could be a fun mechanic where if Broly does the grab either close enough to a wall or throws the enemy towards a wall, it could do extra damage referencing the time where Broly's obviously slams Goku into the wall and he's just dragging Goku against the ice. I think that'd be a great reference to that, and great. Honestly, a cool mechanic. We kind of have mechanics like that with Bardock, where if Bardock slams his skill, or with using Bardock's skill, what if he slams an enemy into another enemy or into a wall, it does extra damage. So I think a similar thing can apply for Broly. For his ultimate, it's going to be a little hard to showcase because surprisingly none of the Dragon Ball games, I think Legends has actually shown it, but I didn't pull it up for Legends. I think his ultimate could just be a big blast. The big blast he does with as Raffle. Not this. It's the one that he does near that. That could be his ultimate. That just destroys like a part of the map. And if Broly's in that part of the map, he gets like extra HP and stats. And maybe just applies a big unbreakable or a taunt that will cause enemies to attack him. And grading him more of his passive that lets him build up towards the fight. As for what else he could do, he obviously just fire Ki Blast, more grabs, melees, just other tank stuff, because Base and Raffle really do a lot in the movie. And obviously since he's transforming, I mean, his transformation, pretty easy to kind of digest and suggest is going to be when he obviously transforms into Raffle Broly and, you know, breaking the ice, screaming his head off. I do think it'd be kind of cool if they do show the Ozaru or the Great Ape. I think that'd be a cool thing to have in the transformation, or it could even be something for his finisher. But I do think his finisher could kind of be very similar to God Vegeta, where God Vegeta's finisher, he kind of just pulls up when he punches you into the ice and that's it. I think it'd be kind of cool if Broly kind of like blocks the punch and then throws you into the ice and punches you. Kind of very similar to God Vegeta. I thought that was the animation there, as actually I believe it's here. I think it'd be pretty similar. Just punch into the ice, and maybe to differentiate it from Broly or from God Vegeta, Broly could just follow you into the ice. I think that'd be kind of cool. For his legendary MVP, it could obviously just be him more losing his mind. It could even be the fighter's outro with him. Like, this is essentially what I'm saying, like him losing my mind and losing his mind, but except of him transforming at the end, because he would save this for a full power Broly. As for what skins he could have, and this is also going to be like part of his, obviously, his transformation, just for him like going mad, breaking dice and all that. That could be it. Like, this whole animation could be his transformation. He could have this mouth beam as well. That could also be cool. I don't know what his MVP would be, even though I just gave it a suggestion. They could even, if they really wanted to, throw in some way to throw in Chilai and Lemon in there. That could be pretty fun. My initial idea was you have Chilai as a technical who could kind of summon Lemon and base Broly, kind of like Diamond Goku. And that way you could get base Broly in the game. I would still love to have the moveset, but I also would like to have a Raffle Broly playable. As for potential skins Broly could have, I think he actually has 2 potential skins he could have. He could kind of have this base Broly just without any of the armor, and it's just the ear of Ba and just the red pants. I think that could work out for Broly. But I also think they can have this kind of shirt with the no armor suit that he has during Frieza's ship. I think both skins would look really well in the game. Great potential for infinite skins. I mean, you could imagine things just flying across this like black long sleeve here. I think that'll work out pretty well. And I definitely do think Broly deserves and does enough to split up base Broly and Raffle Broly, as well as Super Saiyan Broly and Full Power, to have 2 different Brolys. And considering when I personally suggested Legendary Super Saiyan Broly for the game, I wanted them to be tank. I definitely do think we need a tank Broly in the game, and I think if Raffle Broly makes the most sense for that, at least to me. But with that, let's get into the next tank I want in the game. Alright, the next tank I want for the 1-year anniversary of the game is a Super Baby 2. Now, in my idea, I don't think this would be a transforming character, but I would not be opposed if it was transforming from a Baby Vegeta to a Super Baby 2, or even a Super Baby 1 to Super Baby 2. It does not matter to me as long as we get to Super Baby 2. Now, I do think Baby should be a tank. You could maybe make him damage and I think that'd be completely fine, but there's a big reason why I wanted to be tank, as we'll get into. You know, I know we already have Young Body as the tank that kind of can possess enemies, our allies and enemies, and I think that's perfectly fine. I think this would be a more traditional Baby, or a different aspect of Baby that he does, which is going to be the Great Ape, which I'll get into later. As for what I want his animations to be, I think for his legendary intro, just having they could obviously have him possessing Vegeta. I think that'd be just a great intro. And obviously having this like kind of vortex he spawns out of and screaming out of it from his Fighters intro. Look, man, I'm a big Fighters guy, alright? I'm sorry for constantly going back to Fighters, but this game, still one of the best looking Dragon Ball games, if not the best looking Dragon Ball game out there. And some of Arcs' best work, and I just love how everything looks. My bad. But I think this would be sick of an intro if either him possessing Baby or Baby possessing Vegeta for his intro if we're starting the battle from Baby Vegeta, or even just flat out just go straight going to Super Baby 2, like with Fighters here, and obviously him like raising his fist like that. I think would be a great legendary intro. As for what Baby could do, I will say the Fighters may be such a big Baby fan. Just the idea of his projectiles like flying and coming back is such a cool idea. I don't even know if this trailer shows it too well, but I just love all of Baby's combos where, you know, he will fire projectiles out and then the projectiles will come back to hit the enemy. It leads to some sick looking combos in this game, and I think it'd be cool if they can apply that to Gekishin Squadra somehow. I don't know if they would, but I think that'd be a great thing to have. Now obviously, if they're not going to do that, we can just keep it basic. Hit us with a revenge Final Flash. Look, man, funnily enough, I'm constantly saying, like, oh, Final Flash, Galaga, Final Flash, Galaga. I don't know. I did not mean for that intentionally, but it's just funny that it ended up being like that. This could be an easy part of Baby's moveset. There's an easy skill one to slap on there. And the main thing I want from Baby, because I don't think this Baby would have possession. I think it would be kind of cool if he could actually summon possessed versions of like the Z Fighters. Like what if he like summoned possessed Trunks or Bulma to help him out, or debuff the enemy. I know it may not make the most sense, but I think it'd be a fun idea to have. The main reason I wanted Super Baby 2 in the game is for his ultimate ability of him transforming into a great ape. I want a playable Great Ape in the game. I want a playable giant character in the game. And I think you can get away with it in Squadra. I know MOBAs tend to lean away from big characters, but I think having this big enemy that just has a lot of health, maybe not the absolute most because you still got to kill the baby and the giant character, but I just want to play as a Great Ape, man, in a MOBA. That sounds so much fun. Just imagining, you know, you just go in, you turn into this massive creature. You're going to get hit with everything in the world. Maybe you can't vanishing step. Maybe you slowly lose health as time goes over on. And that's kind of, your health is your transformation mechanic to a degree. I don't know how it works, but I want to play as a Great Ape. I want to stomp on enemies. I want to shoot a Galaga gun at enemies while I'm a Great Ape. It just sounds super fun with me, and there's a lot of characters that would get locked out of giant characters that would get locked out if we don't learn some way to do it. I mean, there's the level 3 from Fighters. Then here's, I believe, you have an enemy down where he fires a Galaga gun. I just want to play as a Great Ape, man. It sounds super fun. It could be a finisher like this exact one of Baby quickly turns into a Great Ape, stomps it around, turns into a Great Ape, does a Galaga gun. I just want the Great Ape to somewhat be a part of Super Baby 2, and that's the main reason why I personally want him in the game. Though I do understand, yes, if you have a massive model, the amount of visual clutter it takes up would be insane. Maybe it could be hard to see like the enemies or allies on your team, so I get why they probably won't do it. But I think as part of his animations, either as a finisher, a legendary intro, team finisher, MVP, something, I just want the Great Ape to be in the game somehow, the golden Great Ape. And I think the best way to show that would be his win screen from Fighters, where it kind of shows like the Earth and then the Great Ape in the background. I do know this is a reference to the LR from Dokkan, but it looks so sick, man. Like, this is such a cool like win screen. I think it would be an awesome MVP. Of course, they could obviously just have Baby transform into the golden Great Ape as the team finish, or as a legendary MVP and destroy the arena. That could work somehow, but I just want to play as a Great Ape. I don't care if it's going to be as Super Baby 2. I don't care if it's going to be like as a Saiyan Saga Vegeta. I don't care if it's... I know it's not a Great Ape, but now we're just getting more to giant characters. But I would love to play as maybe like a giant Hirudegarn, giant Janemba, Saiyan Saga, Great Ape Vegeta, Cell Max. Doesn't matter. I just want to play as a giant character. And while I may not be the most competitive in the game, I just want to play as it, man. Like... I think the animations for Baby could look sick because for some reason these games love making Baby look like the coolest villain ever, and I don't disagree. He is super cool, but they just do such a good job, like just giving him like such a cool factor that I would love to see Gekishin Squadra just take on it. If it's possessing more allies, enemies, turning into Great Ape, firing projectiles in and out. Because Super Baby 2 to me has always been super tanky. I mean, he's taking hits from like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta for a bit, full power. Did I say Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta? My bad. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and obviously with the Great Ape still taking hits, and even has like deals with stomach veins from Oob, which is pretty for Majin, which is pretty funny. But I would love to see Super Baby 2 in the game because of Fighters. Fighters has made me such a fan of Baby because he just looks so cool in this game, and that's really what I just would love, is that any of these characters that are in Gekishin Squadra to just turn me into even bigger fans of the characters in the game. You know, I've become a much more of a bigger Kale fan because of Gekishin Squadra, so I would love to see what they already do for one of my favorite characters, Baby, in Gekishin Squadra, because I think it will look good. But with that, I'll see you guys for my last tank character. And the final tank I want for the 1-year anniversary of Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra is Golden Frieza. I know we just got Final Form Frieza not too long ago, but hey man, I love my Wicked Bloodline. I love the Frieza families. I'll give you Golden Frieza. I've asked for full power Frieza before in the past, and now I think it's time to ask for Golden Frieza as a tank. When I just think of absolute tanks in Dragon Ball, Golden Frieza is always the one that comes into my mind. Maybe because of Dokkan, where a lot of the Golden Friezas have insane damage reduction, that they're virtually untouchable for the first couple of turns, or even throughout the whole battle. Maybe that's why I think of Golden Frieza as a tank. But considering how much he is tanked throughout the series with Resurrection F, the Tournament of Power, and the Broly movie, I think he's more and deserved his tank. Plus, it also break up Frieza from technical jail that he's in right now, and I think it'd be a fun spot to do it in. Even though, you know, we already have Cooler as a tank for the Frieza family, so I would love to have Frieza as damage, but it's all good. As for what Frieza could do, I mean, it's Frieza. He has so many techniques. Even Final Form Frieza barely scratched the surface on what Namek Frieza can do. So you can obviously go back into Namek Frieza and do that. But some of the things I would want from him is his transformation. I would think this is just a start of battle, Golden Frieza. And what better transformation for Frieza than his transformation during the Tournament of Power. Yeah, I mean, you could just see this whole animation just playing out perfectly in Gekishin Squadra. I don't think I'd even comment more on it. I think it would work amazingly as a legendary intro. If they really wanted to, they could all do this cool little eye thing right there. As for his moveset, I think his ultimate, which is cutting it a little bit ahead, but I think this would be a sick ultimate, kind of similar to Cooler, where it's him doing the Earthbreaker, literally destroying Earth. And I think instead of Cooler's ultimate, where, sorry Dokkan World Shadow Shogun, one from using all your animations, using animation all your uploads for the animations, where Cooler's ult just throws on the supernova and anyone gets hit inside of it gets, you know, deals damage to the final take, does a lot of damage. I think this one would work differently, where this would be a little bit more instant, but it'll be, instead of just this big circle that brings you, I think it would just be a big AoE stun. I mean, the earth is blowing up, and then it would also be cool seeing like the cracks in this arena, having this big stun that could help you out really well and cause different, because we don't really, the only stunning ultimate we kind of have right now is Bulma, and that is a great ultimate, which this would be a much more kind of more melee focused, or much more close range, especially on the early ranks. That's why I think it'd be perfectly fine. But that's what I personally want for his ultimate. I mean, what other ultimate could a Golden Frieza have for his ultimate? I think also another interesting technique for a Golden Frieza to have would be this kind of cage he does with ultimate go on to, I believe, get Dispo out of the Tournament of Power, where Golden Frieza sets up his death beams or laser beams to kind of put like a jail up or a cage around. There are instances of this in League of Legends, you know, think like a Vigar in League of Legends, the kind of cage he has where he limits the area that you can move in, and you can avoid getting stunned or dealing damage, but you're just stuck in this circle. I think Frieza having this where you can kind of put up these death beams and lasers everywhere, that if you bump into them, maybe you get stunned, maybe you take a lot of damage, but you could theoretically be free to move around in it, but you can still take damage from everywhere else. I think it'd be a great tool for a tank to have. Kind of think an evil version of Bulma's capsule house. I think it's the best way to describe an evil version of that, even though it already is evil. Of more, instead of protecting your allies, is more disruptive to the enemies, where they are going to be the ones stuck inside the house. I think that'd be great for that. Obviously, it's a Frieza. You could have death beams. You could have ways for him to get his HP back. And you could even have like a way for him to get a provoke on, like how he kind of provoked Broly, where he was like, no, I'm getting, you're going to focus on me. I'm Lord Frieza. And just, I've been here for an hour just taking the damage. I think a provoke like that could do well. I just want Golden Frieza in the game. As for what skins you could have, we already saw with Final Form Frieza, they did that scam skin where they just put like the dirt marks on Frieza and called it a day. If they wanted it to, they could make Golden Frieza have a skin of Angel Frieza, because it all depends on what Frieza they want to do. If they want to do specifically Turn of Power, then it has to be Angel Golden Frieza. If they want more broad, I'd say just go base form Golden Frieza from Resurrection F and the Broly movie. But you can still sell the skin of Angel Frieza, even though it's just a small little halo on the top of his head. I don't know if they really warrant the skin, considering the Final Form Frieza skin that we got. I don't know what else you do with Frieza, and it could easily work. That's my idea of a skin. And yeah, I think I would love to see Golden Frieza in the game. You know, I just had all hero characters for my damage characters, so I think having all villains as a tank makes sense. If you saw it with the half-year anniversary, you know, they gave us God Goku and God Vegeta, but they also gave us a villain with Kid Buu. I think having a villain for your anniversaries is smart, because you're already having this exciting hero release from like a fusion. Having a villain that either they go up against or just throughout the series would be great. I mean, Kid Buu never fights God Goku and God Vegeta. That's why I said Janemba was part of my honorable mentions, because I would put Janemba 100% on this list if I hadn't already asked for Janemba before. But I think Ralph Broly makes a lot of sense for fighting the Blues, and kind of Gogeta, even though it's the wrong form of Gogeta. Baby, again, kind of similar veins of Kid Buu, you know, not the right series or even transformation fights, but I think it could work out. Golden Frieza just makes a lot of more sense if we want to keep it more thematic. But I just love my villains, so all my tanks are villains. But with that, those are the 3 tanks I want for the 1-year anniversary. So now let's get into the 3 technicals I want for the game. And the first technical I want for the 1-year anniversary is a Super Saiyan Trunks that specifically does the Spirit Sword. Now, I know this is a weird pick. I try to have one quote hype character for each role. Obviously Gogeta for damage, Raffle Broly for tank, and I'm choosing Trunks for Spirit Sword Trunks for technical. This character I think could honestly work for every role. I think for a tank you might have to make it Rage Trunks to make it work, but I think Spirit Sword Trunks can work for every role. But I'm specifically choosing technical because, again, I want characters to have different roles, and I would personally think it could work out pretty well. You know, Trunks' this whole thing against a monster showing like humanity's like will and determination and desire to keep living, I think could work pretty well with a technical, more supporting role, where he could kind of give his teammates this buff of, you know, humanity's determination, humanity's will, desire, give them some buffs and all that, and then he can turn around and the people that gave him, or the people that Trunks gives his energy to, and the wills and the humanity's will and determination, give it back to Trunks for his spirit. So I think it'd be pretty interesting. Now, as for what he can do and what he can look like, I think essentially we could see like a model of Mai handing Trunks a broken sword. They kind of throws or fills of like his key, and we get like the yellow like spirit sword, not the spirit bomb sword, but like a spirit sword from Yu Yu Hakusho. I think it could work out pretty cool like this, where it kind of rebuilds it, but it's like the yellow. I think that could be work well for his intro. Then for what you can actually do, I think a simple, you know, throwing sword that you can kind of follow up on, or just throwing the sword, could debuff the enemy or something, while his passive is like, you can kind of work like Kid Gohan, where just being around our allies gives them, you know, passive buffs, used to say. For his another ability you could have, I honestly think it'd be cool if he had Trunks and kind of like the militia a part of his super attack. I think that'd be a pretty cool aspect to have, where it could kind of be also debuffing the enemy. It gives him more representation of characters in the game, because I don't think Mai would be playable in the game. I think it'd be kind of cool if Mai was playable, but I don't think she would be playable, probably relegated to a helper. So having her be a part of Trunks' moveset could be really cool. Maybe another skill of, you know, I've been saying a lot of every, I think I've already said it for once per role. Trunks should have a Gala gun that, you know, we saw Goku Black, where Goku Black can leave a zone that has buffs and debuffs to the enemy. I think Trunks can maybe just be way more focused on buffing the enemy or the allies, and maybe even debuffing the team directly. But instead of Goku Black needing to leave down the zone, Trunks would directly have to hit an enemy to get the buffs. I'm not too sure, but this whole thing would be buffing. But then the main reason why I would want Spirit Sword Trunks is obviously for the Spirit Bomb Sword, where depending on the amount of allies near Trunks, and maybe at max rank, it becomes a global ultimate, where Trunks, depending on how many allies near him, gets energy for a Spirit Bomb Sword, and fully charges it up and does a lot of damage. Because we've seen with characters like a Launch Kid Buu that technicals can just do a lot of damage, and I would think this would do a massive amount of damage. Maybe not this exact sword slice. I think it'll be a two-part where obviously Trunks would stab the enemy and hit them, and then drive the sword up and then do this huge explosion. There needs to be a huge explosion. I remember when the physical, you actually have it here, when this physical Trunks came out, I was excited. But then they ruined the Spirit Sword. Everything's looking cool. It's like, okay, the animations are okay. You know, Standby having pretty much the same exact animations as base, but instead of yellow, it's blue. But if they nail the Spirit Bomb Sword, it's gonna be peak. Oh, everything's looking pretty good. The voice acting's really good. All right, here we go. I can't wait to see that massive explosion. Yeah. There needs to be a massive explosion like this. And this would do AoE damage on the map. Or if enemies are near this AoE, they would also get hit. So it would do a lot of targeted damage to one enemy with the Sword Slash. And then any of enemies caught in that AoE slash upwards, the big pillar blight beam, they would get hit by that. So Trunks would be more like focused on buffing his team, keeping like, you know, morale up and all that, maybe even debuffing the enemy. But then his ultimate, he would like flip everything. He would acquire the energy and morale, hope, desire of everything of his teammates to land one big slash ultimate. I mean, this could also be a great boss secure, great at securing kills. I mean, this would be like a massive AoE at max rank. And for his legendary MVP, it could be him maybe going back in time with Mai, even though I really wouldn't want that. It could also be this frame here where, you know, Spirit Bomb Sword goes away and the sword is broken. I think that'd be cool legendary MVP. You know, it could be a just start a battle Super Saiyan Trunks. You could even take more inspiration from Rage Trunks, considering, you know, the Trunks we have in the game does go from base Super Saiyan. It could be Rage Trunks as a base, but it'll obviously take the more Dragon Ball Super design of Trunks, while the Trunks we have now is the more Z design. So I think it would work out perfectly fine. As for what skins I think this version of Trunks could be, I really don't know. Maybe he could have Mai's clothes on if they really wanted a skin like that. I'm not too sure what exactly they would do, considering a lot of the Trunks skins I think they want to say for Z Trunks, like, you know, Saiyan armor Trunks that he wears after exiting the hyperbolic time chamber, the BoJack movie Trunks with, you know, the jean jacket. You know, they gave him Tapions off it, which is crazy. So I don't know what they could give Super Trunks, but I just want to see the Spirit Bomb Sword in the game. If you're noticing, a lot of these characters that won the game are just for a very specific reason. I do love the characters themselves, but I would, you know, what tips me more to actually put them in these videos is like a very specific move or thing that they can do that they gotta be sick gameplay wise, or just a move I'd love to see in the game. And I'm a massive Trunks fan, so I'm obviously going to take more Trunks, and I want to see the Spirit Bomb Sword in the game because I think it would look beautiful in the game. And I think having Trunks be a technical 5 adding buffs and debuffs, but then doing this one big massive blast, I think would be really fun for technical. And while I do understand that Spirit Bomb Sword Trunks is nowhere near the same level as quote hype for a larger part of the Dragon Ball fandom as a Raffle Broly or a Super Gogeta, we just got Goku Black. There's no way I'm just gonna beat that, so I'm just gonna do this for me. So I personally want a Dragon Ball Super Trunks that does the Spirit Bomb Sword as my first technical for the 1 year anniversary. For that, I'll see you guys for the next technical I want in the game. The second technical character I want for the 1 year anniversary of the game is going to be Tapion. Now, I know, very weird pick, and also weird in the context of Gekishin Squadra, because we are getting him, should be in a couple weeks, as a helper for getting a rank overall, and ranked for season 5 or season 6. So, how are these? He's just going to be given out as a helper and be a playable character literally the next season for the game. Look, man, this is not a predictions video, this is a wish list, and I think Tapion is cool, super cool, and I would love to have him playable as a technical character in the game. I almost said tank for some reason. Give me a slack, it's 3:30 in the morning. Now, obviously, Tapion hasn't had the most coverage in Dragon Ball as a whole. He had Wrath of Dragon, and that's pretty much it. So, what do I want him to do? Well, I wanted to kind of be just a pure buffer, like just entirely, by him playing the Ocarina. I think that's easily one of the coolest parts about Tapion. I mean, his whole fit's cool, his whole vibe is cool. He obviously has his sword that he gives to Trunks. Then he has the whole thing with keeping Hirudegarn and like kind of linked with him. But I don't think you get Hirudegarn with this kid. I think you can make a playable Tapion by himself just by playing different songs on his ocarina. Kind of think Sona in League of Legends, if you're familiar with that. Just a character that's all about playing different types of songs that do different things in the game. And I think Tapion would easily work out the best for that. Obviously, he can still have like a basic kind of like sword slash that he obviously says he has Trunks' sword. But I think just him himself could be fine. Now, I do think you can you can have Minosha, his brother, have appearances in the game. Though I think this is mostly going to be Tapion, and you can see here, I don't have a lot of inspiration for Tapion. I just kind of wanted to play the ocarina. Now that's kind of what I wanted him to do. Like, imagine him and Minosha come out, play his ocarina as the ult, and it gives you like massive buffs that you can just quickly go run, do a bunch of damage, take a lot less damage from the enemy. I think that'd be pretty cool. Is a massively buffing technical ult just from playing the songs. And obviously you can maybe have a sword slash, you can still do damage, but you'll be much more focused on just team play. You know, maybe you play an ocarina that can heal the team. Maybe you can play an ocarina that speeds, or you can maybe heal and speed people up. Maybe you can play an ocarina that increases their damage. And obviously, if there's enemies nearby, you can maybe do some damage to them, but it'd be much more focused on buffing the team and kind of letting them take the charge and all that. Just because him playing the ocarina is one of the coolest aspects of his character for me. And sure, maybe you could even have this like heat flash that he does right here. If you really wanted to have more damage, so you can maybe have one part of his kit playing, or two parts of his kit playing the ocarina. I just think him playing an ocarina to massively buff his team as his ultimate would be really cool. I don't know what his legendary intro, finisher, MVP, and all that would be. Maybe you could have his finisher, have Hirudegarn come out. Maybe his intro could be just him playing the ocarina with Minosha. I'm not too sure exactly what his animations would be, but I would just love for him to be playable. Very underrepresented the character in Dragon Ball that I would love for him to get his flowers. I know, yes, he's being a helper, but I do think eventually helpers could be playable characters. Because keep in mind, Tapion is a helper for a tank, so having him be as a technical you wouldn't be able to pick Tapion and have Tapion as a helper. That would be a little silly, though funny. I just want a character that looks cool playing an instrument. Alright, I'll be honest, my bad. But with that, let's move on to the final technical character and the final character I want for the 1-year anniversary of Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra. And the final character I want for the 1-year anniversary is Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. That would work pretty much identically or very similar to Gamma 1 and 2, where you can tag each of one of them out and they would have their own health bar, and some of their skills are tied exclusively to whichever Great Saiyaman you're attached to. I think that I just love playing the games. I love that archetype of you have much more health, but they're split between two different characters, and each character has a different movesets, and it kind of functions very minorly differently. You know, Gamma 1 obviously has more range, while Gamma 2 is more melee. Gamma 2 has the 3 dashes of the skill 1 that does a lot of damage, while Gamma 1 has the dive kick skill 2 that was all about kind of regenerating your health. And then they share an ability with the skill 3 gun attack, and then their ultimates kind of enhances their whole thing and kind of brings it all together. I just love that archetype, so I'd love to see it how it work with techno, and what other better character than other superheroes with Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. Now, as for what they could do, I would like to think their animations would be very silly, very fun. Does this character deserve to be one to be anniversary worthy? That's for you to decide. This is just a character I would love to see in the game, and considering we're probably going to be getting much more hype characters, I think them for the anniversary would be pretty cool to see. Now, I am counting Videl and Ultimate Gohan differently than Great Saiyaman. So I do think in the future I will be requesting Videl, because I do want Videl to be in the game. I think should be super sick. And I know maybe we're bring it because of fighters. A lot of the animations I would like to bring up are getting pulled from fighters, where it is Videl with Great Saiyaman. So I think the intro could just be that shot of them like kind of leaning against each other and just being super cool and super cute with each other. I think it'd be great animation. Just imagine here Videl's in her Great Saiyaman woman, Great Saiyaman 2 outfit here, and they could just all be about doing this. Imagine a stun where Ultimate Gohan or not Ultimate Gohan. Sorry, I shouldn't expose the secret identity. Imagine it's Great Saiyaman 1 just hits you with a stun, and then you just have to watch him do this. I know the animation wouldn't be great because it's in like the MOBA top down, but I think that'd be super funny if you get stunned and you just have to sit there watching it like a super sped up version of Great Saiyaman doing the damn dance. I think that's pretty funny. And like I was saying before, I think this could be a legendary intro of them kind of leaning against each other, getting ready to fight. And Great Saiyaman 2, I think, can maybe have more crowd control, maybe doing the grab thing, or just hitting you more punches, doing something, maybe even calling Great Saiyaman 1 to do something. But I do think the ultimate is going to be like this Kamen Rider kick that they do. I think very cool looking, works very well. Maybe even include the heart if they really want to. This could be their outro if they want to. Obviously, again, Videl would be covered up with Great Saiyaman 2. They could also just do a bunch of like assaults and like punches and kicks if they really need to. I mean, this is going to be the rush attacks, I would imagine. And yeah, they could have this uppercut here of them working together. I would just love if they don't do the gamma kind of mechanic. I think it'll be great if all their attacks are together, so they're both kind of on screen at the same time, working together, doing all the skills together. I think it'll be very cool. Okay, very fun character. Again, if do they deserve to be 1 anniversary, that's up for you to describe. I just want them in the game. I think it'd be very silly, very fun, and I personally would love them to be tactical, boosting team morale, causing enemies to be enraged and despair as they see the heroes saving the day. Very silly, very fun, and considering all the other hype for the 1 anniversary we're probably going to be getting, and considering we just got Goku Black as a technical, I think we can have a little bit of cooldown period for technical. So that's just it. But you know, this has been a long video and a long time recording this, but those are my 9 characters I want for the 1-year anniversary of Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra. And before we head out, shout out once again Shane McCall for the background music. I'll leave a link to the exact video that we're listening to in the description. Please show them some love. I can't believe we're already here. Just a couple more weeks and we'll be celebrating this, not only the start of season 7, but the 1-year anniversary. And you know, I'm going to be going crazy with a bunch of content with it. So if you want to stay up with everything with the 1-year anniversary, please leave a like, comment, and maybe consider subscribing. Stay tapped in the channel, stay up with everything Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, including music coverage on the 1-year anniversary. Let me know down in the comments who you guys would love to see added to the game and what you think about my picks. You know, I have a lot of kind of safe, predictable picks, but I have a lot of very weird picks as well. So I'm genuinely curious what you guys think of my list. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!